Welcome to the Mental Health Hour. We are back on Wednesday. After last week, we got a little shuffled around, but it's good to be here. Hello to all the live viewers coming in, and hello to all the replay viewers. And hello, Gemma. How are you?
Not too bad. I noticed I should have maybe looked in a mirror before. But other than that, yeah, we're not too bad. Not too bad.
Awesome. So we have such a great episode planned tonight. I love when we have guests on. I love the interview aspect, and I really love when people are willing to come on and share their experience as well. It's nice for the audience to see, and it's not just you and I up here all the time. We get different variety, which is awesome. So, as you guys know, as you all kind of trickle in, when we do have a guest, Gemma and I like to, let the guest pick what they want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight's guest is no different. We had them pick a topic. Well, usually it's not. I ask, what do we, what's our forte here? What do we want to get into? And we kind of go from there and try and find a central motif. And tonight we're going to be talking about speaking your truth, which can pretty much boil down to a lot of what this show is all about. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Welcome in. This show is from the start. It's been about being true to who you are, and speaking your truth, and not being ashamed, and staying on your path, basically. Wouldn't you agree, Gemma?
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, everyone's truth is going to be different. Everyone's journey is different.
Absolutely. So yes, tonight's guest is Sarah Lightman. Been on Twitch for, well, I'll let her explain. And we're very excited to have her on the Mental Health Hour. Like I said, getting into it, we're gracious and so happy to have our guests that agree to come on the show and join us and talk mental health and try and help us, with our mission of normalizing this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome coming on in. It's nice to see you guys. We're not going to make you wait any longer. Without any further ado, our guest this evening, Sarah Lightman, joins us.
Hi, everybody. Hi, thanks for having me. Hi, Michael. You said Tracy is the name for Slinky Quests. Hi, Tracy. Very nice to meet you. Hi, Brian. Hi, Gemma in chat. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Trevor. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I've been on Twitch. Kind of a messy story, but I first tried out Twitch right before the pandemic, and I was just overwhelmed. And then I jumped back on after the pandemic, and I had time to digest it, and I had a vocal surgery. We can talk about that too. So I've been on for a little over a year now, officially. I know it. Is it Naomi or Noemi? It's Naomi, right? Is that how you say that? Thank you.
You can call her Hattie.
Or Hattie.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Hattie, and Marcia as well. So I've been a little over a year. Really enjoying it, really enjoying the community and the people that I've met. I do, as you can tell, guitars. I do music, but I advocate for mental health through music. I'm not a health practitioner by any means or certified. So don't quote me on Sarah said this, so I'm going to do that. But I choose to share my journeys of my struggles and what I've been through, and just kind of uh, allow people to have a space to be themselves when I stream, while doing music, and then also while my original songs kind of cater again to those personal experiences. So that's kind of where I go in. Hi, Betty. How's it going? Thanks for the warm welcome. And hello, Desiree, as well. So, that's kind of what I do. Uh, this is my cat, Pepper. I have two cats. Pepper. Pepper's the older one. So she's the original, I guess you'd call it, therapy cat. She's not trained to do anything in particular, but just as a mental health grounding, like the cats are really great to just like remind me that, I can be calm and everything's safe, and like remind me to slow down and just kind of watch them sometimes. And
I have two cats.
you what?
I have two cats. It's funny.
Very cool.
My cat, I renamed it, but the name that the cat charity gave it was Salt. So my Salt and your Pepper.
It's funny. It's because the other cat I almost like maybe did Salt, but I was like, no, I don't want to force their names together. So the other cat's name is Cookie Monster because he's very sweet, but like Cookie. But he's also he's a troublemaker. His name's not Oreo, but you're funny. Everyone just thinks Oreo because he's black and white, but
Mine's Oreo.
oh, so you have an Oreo. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. That makes sense now. Marsha has two cats too. Very cool. Yeah. So dogs are therapeutic too. I love dogs. I just don't have time for dog right now. So cats are a great alternative.
Absolutely, yes.
Baby.
Pets and all their silent wisdom,
Yeah.
Good listeners, and always there.
Yeah.
Nice constant in our lives.
Yeah.
So yes, welcome in. Thanks for being here tonight, and thanks for agreeing to come on and share with us and with our little community here. There's a bit to get into with this, and I'm excited about this this topic in particular because it really, like I was just telling Gemma, it really does hit home with what we aim for, with what this show is all about. So when I started doing this show, and in the very early on episodes, and kind of what I roadmapped it in my head, I just wanted something to do my step 12 work. So I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
And the 12th step of AA is all about sharing your experience, strength, and hope to help another, be successful as well.
Sure.
And I mean, that's exactly what we're doing here. And along that way, I want to show people that the conversations around alcoholism or whatever mental health related, there's always that stigma, and people feel ashamed or like they shouldn't feel a certain way when it comes to the mental health anything. So we just want to show everybody that you're not alone, and that there's nothing wrong with discussing and talking about exactly who you are, which kind of falls right in line with speaking your truth. But that being said, I'd like if you would tell us why this topic stood out to you, and share why we went down this road. What does Sarah think about this topic?
There's a lot of things that come up for me. Congratulations on being in a 12-step. I am also in a 12-step for codependency. I tend to people please and to automatically, if I'm not really constantly working on it, sometimes I don't speak my truth. I speak what they want to hear. And it's like not what I want to do. it's just an automatic response because of whatever I learned during childhood to survive. So for me, I go to remind myself to put myself first and my needs first and to do it consistently. So I totally resonate with you on that. A lot of people don't know that. So finding out new things about me in chat. Welcome. Yeah. So it's really great to go. I know a lot of people throw shade at 12 steps, like, oh, I'm not that bad. But even if you don't have much going on, I recommend at least one time in your life, just go to a 12 step.
Mhm.
Even if I know a lot of people who may not be like very faith based, like I'm Jewish and I'm in a different faith than what a lot of people maybe might focus towards in some 12 steps group. But like there's something for everybody in it. Hi, Craig. How's it going? Hi, Sugar Baker. How's it going? I love the screen name. Very cute. Hi, Michael. I don't know if I said hi to you, but I'm saying hi again. Yeah. So like, it's worth going because there's no people are able to hold space. Nobody's allowed to give advice. Nobody's allowed to comment on what you share. They just thank you for your share, and it's just a space to just kind of share like that what you're going through, and then you work on tools together. And then you get sponsors and people, and sponsors is usually just like when you basically have like a cheerleader helping you go through the steps and work on what you need to work on. So like I highly recommend there's so many different kinds of 12-step groups these days. Just
Yeah.
going to one because it just gives you a fresh perspective on like, okay, here's where I am. How can I do better? And how can I kind of like treat myself better and others better too? And like when you focus on yourself, the rest kind of works out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of comes from that, and then of course through my music, I kind of speak. I feel that I guess this is my own personal opinion, but I feel that I speak the truth that maybe other people can't all the time, or they can't put it like they want to, but they don't know how to put it into the words, or they need something besides words. They need the music and the words to
Mhm.
like hit all the right spots. I am sponsored by Luna Guitars. That's a different kind of a sponsor. But thank you for that mention. That type doesn't help you with 12 steps. That's a partnership, but yeah. So I'm so sorry. I'm gonna backtrack.
That's okay.
What was I saying?
Just how everyone, I liked what you said, that everyone could benefit from at least going to a 12-step and just seeing what it's all about.
Fresh perspective. We all have something. We all have something to work out.
Yeah, and there, like you said, there's, I mean, this program kind of started based on alcohol, but I don't know exactly when it happened, but I'm glad that it did. Somebody took a step back and was like, you know what? If we just substitute alcohol for anything, this program translates across the board. And it's really a great, blueprint for, like I said, just substitute anything in there.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
the whole having a sponsor or a mentor is really in line with what the program's all about, because once you get into the step work, and like step 3 in particular is becoming okay with, hey, my life with me in charge has become completely unmanageable. So it's time for me. That's where the higher power comes in. And it does get to be like a turnoff to some that aren't in like a religious state of mind. But there's a whole chapter in the big book about it's called "We the Agnostics." It's a higher power to what you believe. It does not specifically have to be God of Catholic or Christian or whatever,
Yeah.
Basically somebody told me in the beginning, it could be that tree across the street. As long as that's your drive, so be it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the higher power is your truth. When you embrace trusting yourself to find the right answer on the inside and to trust that it's going to be there for you, I feel like that's when you kind of tap into that. For sure. It's just, it gets spiritual, and that's where people get hairy because they're like, well, I was taught this is spirituality, and it's just like, well, it's not black and white,
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's coming to terms with what you were doing basically wasn't working. So it's time to, remove yourself from the driver's seat of the car and learning how to ride pass and ride shotgun and let somebody else take the wheel. And it's a great program.
Yeah.
It's very successful. I've been successful in it so far. I have almost 20 months sober now. So
Wow, that's amazing.
yes, we're working on year number 2. And we're still sharing that experience, strength, and hope along the way. And this is one of the platforms that we do that with. And Gemma, if you'd like to throw in, what speaking your truth means to you as well, please.
Well, with me at first, like, I have a lot around self-harming. I started self-harming at about 9 years old and made a very serious attempt on my life at around 11. And I've now gone quite a while without any self-harm. Certainly since Tim and me started doing this. And for me, this has been a way of helping other people, because it's always been something I've wanted to do, is to help others, but it's helped me along the way as well. And then, as I say, it was my son's cancer anniversary on the 12th of February. And there's no way at the start that I would have been strong enough to even talk about that or admit it. And now I've turned that into actively trying to campaign to help other people. We have a charity fund set up in my son's name, and I've raised well over £5,000 in his name, but like much more prior to this charity starting. And it's at the start it was like a distraction for me, but now it's become much more about helping other people and trying to find hope for others as well, because without going into it too much, because we discussed it like literally at the weekend, but my son will be sterile now for the rest of his life. He will have walking problems, troubles with his hands and stuff like that. So I want to be able to make it so that like other children can eventually, hopefully one day, and adults get treatments that aren't as debilitating and like as aggressive, and so that all people that receive a cancer diagnosis can be healed. And that's like, even when he's supposed to finish treatment in May, and even when that happens, like I know that I'm still going to be nervous about it and what have you, but even when that happens, I'm still going to push forward to try and raise the money and the awareness for that and for everything else. And to hope that even if just one person reaches out when they feel at rock bottom to save them self-harming and stuff like I did, then, that's one person who I've helped. And that's, for me, that's what I want to do. With religion, I was baptized Catholic. I think my faith has been tested a little bit with all the stuff with Thomas and what have you, but
Certainly, that can definitely
mm,
factor in. We run through the 5 stages of grief, and
mhm,
bargaining and anger can, find us talking with our higher power a good bit. Why me? Why us? Please, me instead of him. Those kinds of things is how we move through our 5 stages. But thank you for sharing that as well. And super excited that May is approaching. So fingers crossed, prayers, and everything goes well. Sarah, we'll come on back to you.
Sure.
You mentioned codependency.
Yeah.
That's not something that we have really touched on here
Sure.
on this program yet. Would you be okay with sharing a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Codependency is such a gray topic because I don't know, like 90% of the planet has codependent habits. So we all have codependency, partly because of I call it programming, what you nurture, nature, environmentally growing up. The other thing is the way our culture is cultivated. Uh it kind of hardwires us to seek the outside to fulfill something on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And to, like you said, substitution of alcoholism, another like can also be codependency, like linked into that because you're seeking that to fill whatever void inside,
Mm-hmm.
emptiness you felt from your childhood that wasn't fulfilled. And nothing's ever 100%. I don't know any super secure adult from child because of their childhood, or at least not very often. And even then, there's still moments that we have to kind of do it ourselves and care for that. But that's kind of the thing is like we use it's when you use the outside to validate the inside. And that can show up in so many different ways. So it's like it's a lot to go into. Um Codependency, says the girl and the cat. Yeah, totally. Um the cat though is not filling a void. The cat is just good company, and there is something called a therapy cat. Um so
I think
um
animals in general are really good for
yeah.
like mental health and just therapy in general, even if they're not like an actual therapy animal,
No, yeah, it's just they're
in
just a
general.
soothing presence.
Mm,
Yeah. It's kind of like a tool to remind yourself to go inside. The validation comes from it. It's one thing if I was gonna just start taking in tons of animals and like over and over, like, oh, I'm just not taking in enough animals, and like I'm not feeling so safe and secure with myself, and I feel so guilty and bad because there's so many animals in the world and I can't save them all, and so I keep impulsively getting more and more and more. Uh, that would be codependent.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between having like 1 or 2 cats. Not saying that everybody who has a million animals, it just depends on what place you're coming from, like your intentions and like your reason of why you're choosing to do what you're doing. When you come from a place of fear, that's going to go back to a hurt place, which can often be codependent. So that's like the best way I can like kind of describe that. Um, yes, animals can sense when you're not yourself, 100%.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for joining, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Yeah, everyone has, and then yeah, like Hattie was talking about Christ, like that's like a pillar. So everyone has their pillar, their higher power that they
Mm-hmm.
look towards. And again, these are just things that uh you use sometimes because you can't see the inside. You need an outside reminder or something tangible to remind yourself to find that safety on the inside. And so like when you're not doing that, when you're using something to try to grab a false sense of safety, that's kind of when you go into that realm of
Mm-hmm.
things. So like that's like kind of, again, there's so many different areas of that codependent thing, but it's like it's basically when you're trying to substitute uh like not just self-control, but like your own value and worthiness with something outside of yourself. So
Yeah. And Michael, you mean yeah, I believe that's what Sarah was talking about when you're adopting 50 cats at a time. Yeah, then it can tend to, or it can become, like a self-medication type thing.
Yeah.
Certainly that's what I was doing with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot out there that we can discuss as far as self-medication goes. And we have touched on that a good bit in the past. But yeah, we tend to uh, what's the phrasing here? We tend to replace addiction with another addiction.
Yep. Until you find the tool. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, like, if I may,
Sure.
if anyone is feeling triggered or charged by what I'm saying, good, because that means that you have something inside you to heal. And that's what I'm talking about with codependency. So
Absolutely.
welcome to the
Yes.
conversation.
And we have such a great following. I'm so grateful for, well, Gemma and I are both so grateful for everybody that shows up every week. And they throw in different tidbits as well. And guys, as always, if you have any questions for Sarah or either of us, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We will get to questions as well throughout the show. The show does move quickly, as you can see. There's a great bit to talk about when it comes to any topic that we've had on this show so far. I want to do like 2 or 3 part episodes for each topic, but anywho, so codependency, like I said, we haven't really gotten into that, and we will. We'll do some more with codependency for everybody, because that was one thing that I had a bit of trouble learning. The ins and outs of what is codependency. So yes, we'll definitely get into some more of that down the road. For now, keeping it with speaking your truth. Obviously, your truth and your journey deals a lot with music. And how long have you been playing music now, and kind of what got you into that realm? I'm assuming music is a great therapeutic release for you as well.
Yeah. In that sense, for me, I think it used to be a I'm just trying to like find the right words. Professionally, I've been doing music for 6 years now. And it's been really great. It's brought me the most joy. Before that I was in the film acting industry. I had done music before that. I just I didn't know how to like sense what I wanted. Like I said, people pleasing and stuff. Like I grew up kind of trying to please family, doing what people would accept me as, and like so I could feel accepted and heard in this uh and so it took me a while to figure it out, but definitely I do think music can be therapeutic. I definitely find myself gravitating towards certain artists, certain songs when I need that thing. Either it's the opposite, or I need to feel I need someone else to be like, yeah, that like
Yeah.
so. But I think for me, there's like I had been writing, but at first I didn't really. When I was a lot younger, I didn't have the confidence to let it completely come out, and then once I really kind of grew up and went through life more, it brought me back to music, and I was like, oh, no, this is like I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was like I had gotten to the other side of some pretty painful, tough situations in life. And I was like, oh, I really want to put this into my music, because I want to remind myself if ever a time I forget where I've been, but I also want to remind others so that way, hopefully, they can suffer less than I did and they can feel less alone than I did when I went through those things. So that they, not to prevent them from feeling the pain, but so that way they feel maybe a little bit more supported than I felt. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at it. And hello, Eric. I'm so sorry if I didn't say hello. Hello. Thank you for being here. Um, and Marsha says, Sarah grew up in the same circumstances as you. I'm a lot older, and it was harder for me to break out of the people pleasing daughter. Yes. Yeah. That's the thing. I was, youngest, and I felt like I was kind of compared a lot to my brother and this and that, and it just kind of happened. Or I was just grouped. It was like I couldn't have my own identity, and then family was like, "Oh, why do you want to do pop music?" And I was just like, "Cause I like it." And like, just things like that. And then I was like, "Okay, or maybe not." And my dad also passed when I was a lot younger, and that kind of, uh, shook some things up too. I was 14 when he passed really suddenly, and he was an art therapist, so I kind of wanted to carry on some of his legacy into my music and the ways that he inspired me. But it also made it harder too to choose that direction. Like, can I do that? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't have him supporting me now. Like, so yeah, that's kind of like what got me started. And then I got into street performing. I was kind of nervous about doing it at first, just because of the criticism and the shame, the first thoughts that come to mind. And then I did it, and I was like, this is awesome. I don't know what people are saying. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know where I got that from, that self-criticism, but like, this is amazing. I can make a guy going to go get jeans at the Gap to stop and go like, yeah, I'm gonna go get jeans at the Gap, but this is awesome. Like let's hang out for a second. Like, do you know this song? Like, awesome. Here's $1. Bye. Like, that's amazing. The fact that like that was not planned and it happened out of thin air.
Yeah,
Like,
a moment that you've created now in somebody else's life.
yeah, and I've had people like make instruments out of whatever they were wearing. Well, this one guy played Hit Me Baby when I was playing Hit Me Baby One More Time. He was playing it on his flip-flops. And I was like, this is really cool. Like, and he had really good rhythm, and I was like, okay. Like, and it's just a cool way to connect with people and build fans and just make people's days better. So that's kind of where that came from. I will say at the time, like, when I was choosing it, there was a small part of me that was trying to fill a void, because that was just where I was in my mental health journey. So like I got a little too I wouldn't say addicted, but maybe addicted, but like in the habit of like looking towards that validation from constantly from tips and people and music to tell me that I was worthy enough to do music. And um through going through a lot of intensive therapy and again learning by falling on my face, I've learned that that needs that worthiness and that value and that feeling must come from the inside first, and that no fan or person or thing can ever replace or supplement that. That's something that must be grown from the inside out. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in chat. Did I miss anything? Gemma said I felt, hi Gemma, trying to please family and others in general to the point where I didn't even follow my own path. Yep, exactly where I was. I wanted so bad to please family. Yeah, because like you want to feel loved and heard. Yeah, that makes sense.
I went into teaching, I think, because of my mom, and I wanted to please her. And then when I did it, when I achieved it, and they didn't even come to the graduation and stuff, and it was like, why? Why?
Yeah.
And you realize in the end that the only person you've really hurt is yourself, because you can't get those years back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's super hard.
But people pleasing, that's something that we're all in one way, shape, or form guilty of. Certainly, it does. It's normal to want to present yourself and put out there a product of you that is viewed as acceptable, or you know, uh, you don't want to be putting yourself out there as something that you're not. Whether it's what that's where speaking your truth comes into play. You know, not worrying so much about what others think about you. That kind of sounds like it doesn't sound like you care then. When I first started talking about that, I was like, well, I want people to know that I care. I don't want to just be like, man, I really don't care what you think. And somebody had told me it's not like that at all. It's more keeping your headspace clean and keeping your side of the street clean.
Yeah.
And not over analyzing or over worrying, putting so much anxiety on what other people think of you, because it'll just drive you mad and throw you deeper into that self-medication and what have you. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That was something that stuck out with what we were talking about, and trying to keep on the topic of speaking your truth. I love it. And Brian's in the chat here talking. He's also a live streaming musician. We've had him on the show as well. He did an episode with Resiliency, and that kind of flows right into this show as well.
Yeah.
Resiliency. I believe when we were talking briefly, you brought up resiliency. Did you want to say anything about that?
Sure. Yeah, I guess resilience in your truth, for sure. And like resilience of no matter what is happening, to like own and know like what the truth is, and like even if something feels unpleasant or whatever is happening on the outside is unpleasant, is very important. Helps you kind of get through whatever you need to get through, whether it's just maybe a simple task to, going through a life-changing transition. Resilience is definitely super important. Hello, Kevin, by the way, and hello, Molly. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
And Brian says, thank you for being vulnerable, Sarah. And yes, I do see so many connections. Tim, especially resilience and being true to self. Yes, no, definitely. It's like the key to being resilient is, I feel like, I think one of the things is to be true to yourself and to like just kind of keep going, like not being stubborn per se, but just like no matter what, to like I'll give you a better example. So like there's a charity that I work with from time to time. They're called Stand for Kind. You can look them up. They stand number 4, kindness, kind. And they work with mental health awareness among youth and promoting kindness. And there's this they do a team building over the summer where they recruit kids to represent them as ambassadors in their schools. And it's really cool. And so they recruit a lot of really special children that are just very aware of certain things that I was like surprised. I was like, wow, like you're teaching me things. And like, I'm not saying you couldn't teach me things, but like you've been on the planet lesson, that, like, that's amazing. Like I'm astounded by the amount of knowledge that you have already gained for yourself and your awareness and your emotional intelligence. And so, thank you for posting that. Yeah. So check them out if you'd like. They're really great. You can always get them to come to your school too if you have kids and stuff. We haven't gone out of the country yet, but anything's possible. So like, if you want to get involved with them, you're more than welcome. But they do a lot of cool things. And so there's this exercise that they were having the kids do called Follow My Voice. And so we all had to be blindfolded and hold our hands in a circle.
Mhm.
And we had to kind of keep linked. The object was to keep linked the whole time. And we had to follow one voice. We were all told to follow this one instructor's voice, because I did it with them. I was like, this is
Mhm.
awesome. Hell yeah. Heck yeah. And I was like, this is great. And so they said, okay, we're going to follow this voice, speak voice. And so the voice spoke. And so we're supposed to follow that person's voice.
Mhm.
It says, no matter what anyone's telling you, follow that voice. And so we were like, okay. So then we started, so we closed our eyes and chained up our hands, and then we're just all holding on tight, and we couldn't hold on the inside. We were outside. So we were like this, and the circle was around the back of us. And so other instructors would come by and be like, this way, this way, this way, but we're not supposed to listen to that. And so that, like, going into that, it was like, that was the resiliency of like, no, follow that voice, follow that truth,
Mhm.
follow through that, because that's what's going to get you to keep going during any time. So like that, I think is like kind of the truth in that. And they were relating that to suicide at the time. Don't listen to those other voices. But it's like,
Right.
sometimes our inside voices, subconsciously, the mind is actually mirrored off of what you were, partly it's, if we're going to get really biological, the lizard brain, Stone Age, when we thought we were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. We're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger anymore. We haven't evolved past that, unfortunately. So like, it thinks that you're going to die, and so it tells you certain things to keep you away from things, because it thinks it's trying to protect you, but actually it's trying to keep you in a comfort zone that isn't good for you, or to move towards a dark place. A lot of the time that happens because that's fear. But if you're really challenging yourself to follow that voice, you're going to move away from that and keep evolving into the person that you're meant to be ever growing into, because it's an ever-changing process every day, if you're putting the effort into that and
Wow.
into that resilience.
That's excellent. That's an
Yeah.
excellent exercise. Thank you for sharing that. And it's fun, I had gone to an inpatient rehab
Yeah.
facility, and all the clinicians and counselors that would come in and put on classes and what have you, they, like you were just saying, they were just as into it, and joining in the activities and engaging with the material as we were. And that's one of the great things about these mental health classes or counseling sessions, is not only is it even something like this show, not only is it therapy for others, but for yourself as well, if you're the lead instructor or whatever you may be. It's just as therapeutic for you. Like when we do this show is therapy for me all the way. And I get to dive back into this content. I get to stay up to date on things and keep doing research, keep reading, keep educating myself, because it's ever changing, and it keeps it fresh in your mind. And it's one of the great things. I always tout group therapy, and that might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it really was that. It kind of ties back into that people pleasing thing, but more along the lines of that self-affirmation, like the tips you were talking about, getting tips and making somebody feel us, wow, look what I've done here in this moment. I got that very feeling when I first opened up in group therapy, and just, sharing my struggles, and all this time I thought I was alone, and then looking up as I was halfway through my spiel, and you have 12 other people in the room looking at you, just nodding their head like, yeah, we totally get that. And I was like, whoa, that kind of blew my mind. um, how group therapy can offer that feeling, and I love it. Like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Gemma, what are your thoughts on group therapy versus?
Um, I wasn't a fan of it at first, but then like when especially the self-harm one, I did more of the group therapy with the self-harming one. And like at first, because I really struggle with anxiety and stuff, and that I was like, no, this is not going to work for me. But as soon as I went in there and I'm like, do you know what? I'm not actually on my own. And people were saying things, and I'm like, God, all the time I've been told that I was wrong for thinking this. Like when you were saying about the voices and stuff, like a lot of what my voices are of what I've been told over the years by parents and stuff. And I think when a lot of the stuff comes from the very people that have brought you into the world and are meant to protect you, and they are putting stuff into your head and I guess conditioning you in a way to think a certain way, even if it's not the way you want to think or not what you want to do. And then it's really hard to break from that. So when you're hearing people saying things, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I feel that too. And yeah, I've done that. And it was hard at first because I was always used to the one-to-one therapy,
Mhm.
but it certainly did help me with the self-harm to realize that, you know what, I'm not alone. And like for sure, like when family found out that I was self-harming and stuff, like I was called many very very rude names, and like basically made out to be like this freak of nature and stuff, and it's totally not right. And they it wasn't the kind of group that would tell you, no, you can't do it, you're not to do it. It was like finding other ways to, because for me it was more about taking the hurt from like in here or up here, have being able to control where it was. So like physically, literally physically removing the pain to get that instant ouch that hurts, and not ouch it hurts here. And
Mhm.
I started at such a young age. As I say, I was 9 when I first started self-harming. um It started more lower level stuff till I was like 11, and it was a very serious attempt. And for me, that was like my family didn't find out till quite a bit later on, when I made more serious attempts that ended up like winding me up in hospital. But as I say, like trying to get what what they'd put in my head and listen to the other people, realize I wasn't on my own, and then start to heal. That was something that really helped me to realize that I wasn't on my own, and actually what I was told by the people that I really did believe had my best interests at heart maybe didn't actually have all of my best interests at heart, and maybe there were things that weren't quite so true for me
Mhm.
because what they'd put in there.
So
So
yeah,
I think that really started to heal when I
a bit
realized,
a
you
bit
know,
daunting at first, but really therapeutic.
oh yeah,
What do you think,
like
Sarah?
Um, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Especially with the whole, yeah, the programming. Because I would like to believe that most parents, not all parents, but most parents are
mhm,
trying to they that maternal paternal protect my child. And
mhm,
so if what they know, so they're going through from what they know. So unless they evolve past that, that's a mixed bag. So it's like that goes into you. And then, unless you're taught that there's choices outside of that, you kind of keep doing that until you choose to take off whatever role they gave you or whatever you were taught to do. what you're supposed to do, which can be very vulnerable, but vulnerability is also a strength. That's not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
So I do agree with that. The whole self-harm thing, I've noticed some people. I had a roommate in college who was becoming manic, and she was self-harming.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, go home. Like, it's summer. We haven't been hired to do anything on campus. Just go be with family. Go home. Like, I can't do very much. And so that's what she did. She went home and she got help. But like, I think for her, I don't know, I don't want to project because I don't know the reasons behind it. I have a feeling she did lose a lot of people that year, so I think that was part of it. But I also have a feeling, or an educated guess, that at the time she wasn't allowed to be part of the LGBTQ plus community, so she was not she wasn't out of the closet. And so I think that might have something to do with it too. I think there's, so everyone has a different reason why they self harm, and usually it's a sign of, I'm in pain, help. um and this inspires me to go back to that Lady Gaga, who has been that person. Like, there was something she said in an interview. I think it was on HBO or Apple, one of the two. They have this new thing with Prince Harry and I think Oprah, right? Prince Harry and Oprah, and
Yeah.
they're talking about trauma. And Lady Gaga says, like, she talks about the PTSD that she has, or has overcome. I would say, because we're way more than our diagnoses. Those are just a part of the journey until we get past that. And so she talks about, like, if you're feeling like you need help, or you need to self harm, don't show somebody, tell somebody. So don't
Yeah.
show by hurting yourself or harming yourself. Like, tell somebody, I'm in pain. But inflicting self wounds or onto other people or whatever, uh, even though in the moment it feels like it might, that's not how to get the help that you need. But yeah, no, I can definitely, like, we all react to trauma and pain and our experiences differently. So it's interesting to see the different reactions that can come up when we don't know how to cope.
Yeah, absolutely. And Molly saying being closeted is not a good feeling. Then there's the fear of being outed.
Mhm.
And just one more example for tonight's topic. Live,
Sure.
speaking your truth, being who you are. And I guess now I don't have any personal experience in being closeted. Well, I mean, I was closet alcoholic. I guess we can say that with
Yeah.
uh, surefiredness. Definitely coming out with that and working this program and being so open with it has been just as therapeutic as well. And speaking that truth has just taken a great deal of weight off of my shoulders. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
No. Yeah. I know alcoholism is different than, like, if you're part of the LGBTQ plus community,
mhm.
but I do think there is a connection there of, like, you can't even be true to that and, like, say, like, this is my thing, or this
This is
is,
me.
yeah. And, like, I don't feel like being an alcoholic is your identity, but I do believe that there is a truth in admitting this has become a part of uh the experiences that have shaped me. If
Mhm.
which is a part of you, in the sense, like, if that, am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I just don't want people to get clear, like, wait, so you're telling me to be an alcoholic?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure people are super clear about that, because they're like, what?
Well, and I had made a decision in my own mind when I was down at rehab, and basically it just came down to how exhausted I felt for 15 years hiding this part about me, or trying to keep it hidden, trying to keep it to myself, that now that I've actually taken that leap of faith, basically, and gone into an inpatient rehab facility, I've admitted that I have a problem. I'm not gonna shout it from the rooftops, but I'm not gonna live afraid anymore. I'm going to be me, and I'm very open with it. I'll talk to you all day about it, everything I've learned, and it's really just a great way to live, to stop that constant burden, that constant heaviness, that like I said, the weight on my shoulders had just been gone. I made that decision, and I've run with it. But we are coming up on an hour, and I'd like to kind of start wrapping things. One thing we like to do is kind of just, if you have any final parting words, wisdom, or anything, maybe burning desires, anything we haven't really touched on that you wanted to talk about, or if there's something we have talked about that you wanted to elaborate on, and leave people with a message.
Sure. I just figured since I'm a musician, I would end on a song.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did not know if you wanted to play or not. So absolutely.
Yeah, no, I just told everybody if you show up, I might play a song. So I was like, I might as well.
I love the guitar.
Oh, thanks. Can you guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to move off. There we go.
So, we have a couple choices. I could play something released or unreleased. Are you guys really in chat? Are you guys really feeling to like feel something really moving, or just something Trevor, or you want something that's moving but it's also catchy? Like, are you really wanting to just like feel something here? Like, where are you guys? What are you guys feeling today? Nikki wants to hear all right. Trevor wants to hear so good. Or I could play something unreleased. Those are released things. So, ooh, mandolin. That sounds really exciting. I think I'll go with Nikki's all right, since I'm seeing pick what you like. Okay. Actually, no, I'll do something unreleased. So this is not released. So don't tell your friends to go find the song. It doesn't exist. It's not even produced yet, really. I just real quick want to get the key right. So Don't mind me. Let me just see. I just want to bring up the voice memo. This is where I keep everything. I did this earlier too. I was like, this song's not out. Where can I go to my own thing? Okay, so it's lower. Okay. So yeah, this is called We Become Whole. I've been doing a therapy called EMDR therapy for about 2 years now, and it's helped me the most out of any therapy ever. There's no one size fits all. You do what helps you.
We just talked about that a little bit. Yeah. So
that's amazing. Yeah. So a healing from some sort of CPTSD type of symptoms. And when I originally wrote the song Topic, I was in a stream and we were talking about, like, you know, weathering a storm and how could that be put into a song where it's like the storm, but the storm is you and your journey. So this song is kind of what came out of the EMDR experience. I talked about roles and programming. This is kind of on the theme of what happens when you take it off. But of course you can hear my actual music, you know, on Spotify that is released. So if you really dig it, you can find other stuff too. Even though it's uncomfortable, we weather a storm. A rainbow is waiting to meet us, and when we fight bitter cold, we find ways to grow. We become whole. Mama's love, move on today. When he was just here yesterday, and I thought that love's supposed to be this way. So I chose those who could only give me pain. Even though it's uncomfortable, when we weather a storm, a rainbow is waiting to meet us. And when we fight bitter cold, we find ways to grow. We become I was taught to be stronger than even my mother and father's son. I was taught to bear it all for everyone. And I thought that I'm supposed to live that way. So I chose to be the one who wears this role every day. Even though it's uncomfortable, when we weather a storm, a rainbow is waiting to meet us. And when we fight bitter cold, we find ways to grow. We become we become take off that road. Even though it's uncomfortable, when we weather a storm, a rainbow is waiting to meet us. And when we fight bitter cold, we find ways to grow. We become we become home. Thank you guys.
Wow.
I know it'll come out. It'll come out. I just don't have a release date yet. I have to get it.
You need to release that. That's amazing.
Incredible.
Mm.
Thank you.
As
I
well.
always get. I don't want to ask our musically inclined guests to play because that's, what they always do. If they wanted to come on and just talk mental health sometimes. But thank you for doing that. That was awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful.
And thanks for taking the time out of the day for joining us here for this hour. It's been great having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Gemma has put in the comments section where you can find more on Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a regular streaming schedule or?
I do. Yeah. So sometimes when I book a gigs, it bounces around. But right now I'm streaming and it is on my Twitch channel. So definitely go check that out and follow it if you haven't already done so. And then of course, if you listen on Spotify, Apple, all those places, give a follow there too. Because it'll let you know automatically when my stuff comes out. But YouTube, Amazon, wherever you find whatever makes you happy. But yeah, Wednesdays I normally stream 3 to 6 p.m. and this is all Central Time. So Central Time. So adjust that to your schedule. However you may fit. Wednesday 3 to 6, and then Thursdays I stream normally 6 to 9 p.m. Central, and then Sunday I stream 11 to 2 p.m., which is my EU friendly stream. Central. And then sometimes I'll do events with other streamers and showcases. So things get moved around, or I'll throw in an extra stream. If I get a gig, I'll take you with me. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. And we do my mental health stuff. We usually do Sundays. So Sunday is self-care Sunday. And I don't talk about topics per se, but we just check in and be like, how you doing? How you feeling? How's your week going? And we just get real as we want to or not. And then we just chat. So and then of course music. So but yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, that's self check-ins and what have you. They're just as important as the topical stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's so big to our own journeys in this mental health world. All right, again, thank you to Sarah for coming on and joining. And if you guys where to find us, www.tmhhonline.com or the bio.link/TMHH.
yeah.
I did not upload the thing, but we are running our special, we're going to be doing the special live Q&A March 2nd. So the questionnaire, if you have a question you want to submit to us, please feel free over at the bio link. It is completely anonymous. There's no way, even if you told us it was you, we could verify it was you. So if you have a question for Gemma and I to answer live on our second live Q&A special, we had a lot of fun doing that the first time. As always, Ella, the bunny mom, is in the comments tonight. Check her website out. She's a great supporter of the show since day one. www.mybunnyvalentine.com and use my promo code FireDude15 for 15% off. And we always love to throw a shout out to Jim in Chicagoland, Catalyst, his candle scope tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. Midweek vibes with Jim. Come one, come all. I believe that is all. Gemma, did you have any parting words as well?
No, I've just put the links in the chat. We will add Sarah's socials to the website in the bio link. But no, just thank you for being here, and thank you, Sarah.
Awesome.
And thank you, Michael, for suggesting Sarah as well.
Yes.
You were definitely Michael's one of Michael's top choices. So thank you.
Aw. Michael's super supportive, so thank you, Michael.
Yeah, he's another one that's been here since day one with us. So a lot of thanks go out to everybody for the bits, the subs, and the love. And Ella has suggested a raid for some program they're running right now I didn't know anything about. So we're going to do that. We're going to play. We're going to get in on that. And we're going to send you over to Yama's TV. Thanks again, everybody. It's been great. We'll see you again back here next week at the same time, same place with another great episode of the Mental Health Hour.